Namaste and very hearty welcome to all of you to this special program on Kamagita. All of you know I'm a sex educationist for more than 20 years now. I do conduct programs on intimacy education and do couple counseling world over. Thousands of couples have been benefited because of this counseling. Man-woman relationship is a very challenging subject in the counseling, and tremendous need is there world over. And there are very few couple counselors available who can handle the subject in a proper manner and give guidance to couples. So I decided that, like we have created many spiritual masters, it's time to create few good couple counselors world over because there is a need, and in the future, this need will increase because for the younger generation, as far as the sex education is concerned, things are going from bad to worse because of too much of pornography available on the internet and all that. So for last many years, I had been doing research in this subject. I studied Kama Sutra very seriously, around 700 sutras. Went to Khajuraho few times, took many people to Khajuraho as a part of the camp, and studying the subject of Kaam in a very serious and a sincere manner. So recently I came across a Geeta known as Kamagita. It's not a very popular thing. I did not know much about it. I had heard of it but never searched for it. So this time I decided I must find out what is Kamagita and must give commentary on that. So I started searching for that and I got the original text because a lot of misinformation is there on the internet and difficult to find what is real and what is genuine. So in this subject also a lot of mistakes about knowing is there. So I went deeper into the subject, did some more research, and then found what is the genuine thing. So we are going to learn about that and discuss that. But before that, this Kama Gita, which means the song of desire. Let me give you a little background. There are researchers who say that Kama Sutras are derived from Kama Gita. I was surprised at the whole thing. When I look deep into the subject, it does seem so that it did derive from there because Kama Gita is only 5 verses. It is a samvad between Lord Krishna and Yudhishthira. So after the Mahabharata war was over and Pandavas won it, but there was no joy because Guru Dronacharya died in the war, Bhishma Pitama was on the Bansaya, all the cousins gone, and 5 children of Draupadi also died by the end of the war. At the end, it happened so. And everybody was feeling very unhappy. So there was no joy of winning the war because everything was lost. And Pandavas were feeling very low. And that is the time when Krishna came for counseling and recommended Yudhishthira to do Aswamedha Yagna and get going on to the duties of a king. And that is the time in the book number 14 of Mahabharata, chapter number 13. This Kama Gita is there. First sentence, starting of the Kama Gita, and then only 5 verses. So 1 plus 5, total 6 verses are there in Mahabharata on Kama Gita. Song of desire. Okay, before I tell you what are the actual verses and go deeper into the subject, let's prepare a background to understand Kamagita. It all talks about the desire. Desire is the most fundamental thing for creating anything in this world. If the desire is not there, you will not be able to function in the world. See, for example, in my mind, the desire developed to give commentary on Kamagita. In your mind, the desire developed to listen to this Kamagita. That's why we are all here. Without desire, nothing moves. Desire is the most fundamental aspect of anything and everything that we do. So without desire, nothing moves. The entire creation happens because of the desire. So the desire is the most fundamental thing. And here Kamagita, Kama is discussed at various levels. Kama means desire. Kama also means sexual desire. See how the Srishti is created, how the human beings are created. First, the desire for Kama has to be there. Only then you enter into the relationship with your partner and the child is created. Child is conceived. Without the desire, you wouldn't have been born on this planet Earth. So, everybody is born out of desire. Without the desire, the birth of a child not possible. Without the desire, you cannot create a new business. You have to have a desire. Okay, let's understand what is the desire. Desire means first you have a thought. And when that thought gains the momentum, you start rotating in your mind, a thought that gains the momentum becomes the desire. That desire will prompt you to act, take action. If that action is purely out of your desire, it becomes karma. But if you take the action full of awareness, it becomes kriya. That is the difference between the karma and the kriya. Desire will prompt you to act. But if you have full awareness, then you have kriya. But if momentum of the desire takes over and you act, that will become karma. And that karma will be binding onto you. And that's how we get trapped in our own karma. And that becomes the fundamental reason for punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, punarapi janani jatare sayanam. We are born again and again. We get caught into the circle of birth and death. So, my dear friends, the desire is the most fundamental reason of why we are caught into this circle of birth and death. My only mission on the planet Earth right now, as given by my master Sri Dada Gavan and Sri Mahotar Babaji, our Moksha Guru for all of us, is to guide people to liberation. So all the topics that I am talking, very interesting titles I give and you come, but my only purpose is to guide you to liberation. And Kamagita definitely guides you to liberation. See, these days, unless some interesting title is there, people don't even attend the free meetings because people are too busy with their own things. So we have to have some title which is very interesting, and then we have to talk in an interesting manner, then only people attend. Otherwise, too much of distraction is there, even online now. Too many things going on, and people are very busy in their own way. So I thought karma is a good word that attracts people online in this world. Kamagita, a very interesting subject. We must discuss it. So desire, Kaam, lust also fits into that. The desire for sex becomes lust. That is also calm. And there is no criticism of anything at any level. It's all the cause of the creation. Nothing is created in this world without desire. In Manusmriti, Manu says that Manase Manu, the one who has mind, is Manushya. Manushya has word man in it. So the one who is thinking is human being. जिसको मन है वो मनुष्य, सोचने वाला है वो मनुष्य. So a thought is a very fundamental thing to human being. And that thought, when gains momentum, becomes a desire. Over momentum, it becomes lust. And that becomes the cause of creation. And that also becomes a trap for you to be born again. See why human beings are trapped into the circle of birth and death. Entire world, only few enlightened beings have escaped. The whole world, whole of humanity is trapped in the circle of birth and death. Person dies, person will be born again. Why? Because person has unfulfilled karma, unfulfilled desire. That becomes the root cause of rebirth. So what is it that causes the rebirth? There are three major things which we need to learn, understand, and go beyond. The first one is the desire for food. Now, from the kamagita angle, let's understand this thing. You have a thought, tells you that you are hungry. Thought gains momentum. You want to eat. But you want to eat some special thing which you love. See, that's how the desire. You don't want to eat ordinary thing. You want to eat some special thing. That's how the desire grips you. Okay, so you have a chance. You got what you want. And you had kind of a satisfaction after the fulfillment of desire. And you said, that's it, enough. I don't need it anymore. Fine. You are happy. After few hours only, your stomach is empty. And again, the desire for food is there. So, as long as you are alive, the desire fulfillment does not happen because the desire reappears. Same thing with money. The second major reason of getting caught into the circle of birth and death is money. Because money has the buying power. And in this Kali Yuga, we satisfy our desires through money. Whatever desire you have, whatever you want to have, you can buy. Money has the buying power. So desire for money is always there. So people have some limitations. So when I started my job, the salary levels were 600 rupees, 900 rupees per month for an engineer, early 80s. So The desire was that we should get minimum 3,000 rupees per month, 100 rupees a day. That was considered as a very decent salary those days. Right now, engineers start in India somewhere around 1,000 rupees. 30,000 a month is a good salary for an engineer. That's the desire. But once you get that much, the desire doesn't stop. You want more. Everybody wants more. So, fulfillment of a desire is not the transcendence of desire. In fact, the fulfillment of desire causes the desire to reappear, and the bigger desire will be there. Okay. Earlier you wanted 30,000 per month, now you want 30,000 per day. That kind of desire development will be there. So desire for money also does not end, and the person gets trapped into earning money. The first person gets trapped into eating food. Anyway, that's a physical necessity. Monetary necessities are limited. What is your need? What is your want? I need food to survive. That is the need. But I want to eat jalebi fafda. That is want. In this part of the world, you don't get that good quality jalebi fafda. So you must understand what is the difference between the need and the want. Monetarily also, how much money do we need per month to survive? That is limited. You know how much you need. But the wanting of the mind doesn't help you to stop there. You go much, much, much beyond, and there is no end to that wanting of the mind. That is what the desire. That is the Kaam that we are talking about. The Kaam of kamagita is that desire. And that desire has no end. And that is what makes you trapped into the human body and born again and again. Because we don't understand this thing. So it's a very fundamental to human beings. And you are not a human being if you don't have that. It is the desire that makes you human. Okay, man se manushya. Manu said that. Because you have the mind, so you have a thought. Thought becomes desire. That's what human being is all about. So, no fulfillment of desire. The third thing, the first is what? Food. The second is money. The third is sex. The desire for sex is so predominant in human beings or all the species of the world, not only human, throughout all the kingdoms. The survival of the species is a very fundamental thought which is embedded into each and every species. Okay. See, many spiritual seekers I have counseled world over. Many sadhus, sannyasis have talked to me. Okay. I do give free counseling to lots of spiritual organizations. Members come, sannyasis come, they talk to me privately. Guruji, I am having a sexual thought. So, the young man, you are a 30-year-old, wearing the yellow robes of a sannyasi, doing all your sadhana, and you get good food in the ashram, you are doing all yogasana, pranayam, you are doing a lot of meditation, which means your body is very healthy. A healthy body will have its own desire. So why do you feel guilty? It's a much fundamental thing. No, no, Guruji, but you see, when I sit for meditation, I get sexual thoughts. You must get. You are a healthy person. It's common. But you see, sannyasis feel that this is something wrong. Do you know these days, more people come to me for counseling for the other reason, the other side of it. Okay. The world is very strange. All sorts of issues are there in the world. So a healthy body will have the desire. Why? Because the very body is born out of desire. Your parents had the desire, so you are born. It is the desire of Kaam, the desire of sex, out of which the body is born. That is why every cell of the body is sexual in nature. And there are 10 trillion cells in the child's body. If a person is very tall and hefty, will have about 90 trillion cells. On an average, scientists are talking about 50 to 60 trillion cells on an average man. Okay. So let's fix it to 60 trillion cells. Okay. So what is the desire? Kaam that we are talking about, kamagita. 60 trillion cells in your body have their own mind. And those 60 trillion cells are shouting in your body, I want sex. That is what is the sexual desire. Okay. Now this sannyasi, 30-year young sannyasi, is doing japa. But you see this power of japa versus the power of 60 trillion cells shouting, having the desire. Who will win? Your 60 trillion cells will win. The other day I got a phone call. We are now doing the Urdhvaretas Kriya. 2 sessions are over. Young boy, talk to me. Guruji, I wanted to practice celibacy throughout the class, but I failed after your first session. It's normal, my dear friends. There's nothing wrong. Why are you fighting against the 60 trillion cells of your body? Even if you fight, you will not succeed. The shouting of 60 trillion cells in your body, okay, is far more powerful than the petty little willpower that you have. Understand this thing. So the power of desire is so very strong, it can carry you away. And that is what makes you a human being. All human beings are like that. They get carried away by the power of desire. So once Vishnuji and Naradji were chatting with each other. And Vishnuji says these human beings are too easily carried away by the desire and they don't know how to stop. Naradji says, yeah, all human beings have to learn that thing. They don't have the power to control and they get carried away. Vishnuji asked, will you get carried away? He said, no. Such a small thought. What is there into carried away? So Vishnuji decided to check Naradji. So once Naradji was there in the forest all alone, and Vishnu took Mohini Rupa, very beautiful dancer. And where Naradji was sitting, that Mohini Rupa, Vishnu started dancing. So after some time, Naradji looks here and looks there and saw that nobody is there and such a beautiful dancer. So he stood up and held the hand of the dancer. The thing starts. The desire developed in the mind that prompted him to get up, hold the hand of a dancer. And Vishnuji wanted to play pranks on Naradji, so he went away, started dancing for some more time. After some time, the desire gained further momentum, and Naradji started running after the dancer, the Mohini, basically Vishnu. And after half an hour, he was at her feet. Will you marry me? Will you marry me? Because the desire has now developed too much. And Naradji started hugging the beautiful dancer. And before he even go further, the Vishnuji came back to his normal rupa, Chaturabhuja. And Naradji realized, oh my God, this is Lord Vishnu. And Vishnuji said, yesterday only you were telling, no, these human beings, they don't have the control. What about you? You also don't have the control. 60 trillion cells shouting in your body for sex is a very powerful phenomena in your body because you are born out of sex. So desire is something, the most fundamental thing that you have. Overcoming this desire is almost impossible. Almost. So what is the way? Okay. See, before starting Urdhvaritas Kriya, one of the participants asked me, Guruji, I am a normal householder, a normal man. I am not interested in transcendence of sex and all that you are talking about. But the subject seems interesting. So can I attend Gurdwara Free? I said, for sure, you can attend. It's an interesting subject. Okay. There is no insistence on my side that you must transcend the sex. And even if you feel that after attending the Gurdwara program, you will transcend the sex, I don't guarantee that. Because power of 60 trillion cells is far more powerful than your will to transcend. Okay. Devarshi, like Narad, also got trapped into it. For an ordinary human being, it is almost impossible to transcend the desire, whether desire for food or desire for money or desire for sex. It is the desire which is the most fundamental of the creation of the world. So, overcoming this desire is the most hidden secret. Only few great masters like Krishna knew about it. And Krishna tells Yudhishthira, this is not Krishna Arjun Samvad, that is Bhagavad Gita. This is Krishna Yudhishthir Samvad. This is Kamagita. So, Krishna tells the secrets of desire, the secrets of how to overcome the power of desire that is there, so that you can walk the path of liberation. That is the most fundamental aspect from where the Kamagita starts. So Krishna says, the moment you have desire for liberation, the desire is there, no? See, earlier you had desire for money. So you are running after your job, your business, your promotions. Now you have retired, or you got voluntary retirement, or maybe you lost your job. In USA, there's a lot of people losing their job. Whatever way. Now you don't have a job. So now you have the desire for liberation. Okay. Let me go and attend Guruji Premji Nirmal's classes. The desire is there, no? Earlier, the desire was that of the money, of promotion, job, business. Now the desire of moksha. So talking about Kamagita, listening about Kamagita is also a desire. And that is the most fundamental of it. The desire does not go away. If somebody says, I want to die, what is that? The desire for death. Desire doesn't go away. No matter what you do, somebody wants, some senses, I want to get married. Okay. I'm helping a couple of people now how to do dating and all. That's part of all people counseling. It starts from there. Somebody comes and says, I want to marry. Somebody wants to say, I'm fed up with my partner. I want this divorce. See, either way, you want to get married is also a desire. You want to get divorced, that's also a desire. There is nothing. There is nothing other than the desire. As long as you are alive, the desire will be there. Life depends on desire. Life depends on desire. If you don't agree, this is a very scientific statement. So if you don't agree to what I'm telling you, and you want to, I want to prove. How do we do that? With your left hand, you hold your lips. With your right hand, you hold your nose and wait for 1 minute. You will not be able to wait for 1 minute. You will understand what I'm telling you. The desire to live is so much there, you will not be able to hold your hands without breathing. The desire to breathe, the desire to live. See, we don't understand the desire to breathe because we are normally breathing, and most of the people unaware. But if you don't breathe for a while, you will understand what is the desire to breathe. Desire to breathe is desire to live. Everybody wants to live. That's ingrained in your DNA. And when 50 trillion cells are shouting, your desire has the capacity to change your body chemistry, my dear friends. As a part of my research, going deeper into this hormonal aspect, how in a young man creates the erection. Between the thought and the sexual erection, there is a hell lot of body chemistry of these 60 trillion cells. Tremendous chemistry. Okay, so many chemicals, compounds, hormones, and so many mechanisms are there which we are absolutely unaware. But that's all happening in our body. When a man and woman connect, do you know what happened to your chemistry at that time? Do you know what happened to your biology at that time? These are extraordinary subjects, so very fascinating. So I went deeper into it more and more to understand why the power of desire so very strong that it can grip anybody. The deeper you go, the more you understand that it is the most fundamental thing on which the creation is based. The whole existence is based on your desire. So now come the most fundamental thing, how the creation happened. Initially, there was nothing. Scientists say the Big Bang happened and the existence was created. And the scripture says the Shiva was inert initially, nothing was happening. And in the awareness of Lord Shiva, a thought appears. Awareness of Lord Shiva, a thought appears in his samadhi. That I want to experience the world. The world has to be created for that. So where did the creation start? It started with a thought in the samadhi of Lord Shiva. That's where it started. And then it gained momentum. And it was not easy for the Lord Shiva to create. Then the Shaktis took over. Ichha Shakti, Jnana Shakti, Kriya Shakti, the basic triangle of Sri Vidya. Those Shaktis took over and the creation happened. So, in the very creation, there is the most fundamental desire. That's how the creation happens. How your body created from the sex. The whole existence is created from the desire. The desire of creation was there in Lord Shiva's Samadhi, where nothing was there. You can say unmanifest. From unmanifest to the manifested existence. How did it happen? It happened because of a thought that becomes a desire for manifestation. So, this aspect of desire is the most fundamental aspect. Now, Shiva has multiplied. Shiva has entered into every jiva. Why? Because Shiva wanted to experience what is life in so many different forms. So every form there is a Shiva hidden. Few forms have that Shiva who has a thought that enough is enough. Now I want to go back to my original form. Those jivas, they become restless. They want to grow in awareness and understanding. They want to find out the master who can guide. They want to do all possible sadhanas so that jiva understand that he is the Shiva. And with that, the game is over. So there is something called transcendence of desire for sure. But that is not in the hands of human. That is only in the hands of Lord Shiva. When Shiva and you want to finish the game, only then it will happen. No matter what you do, it will be your desire only. If you can understand that, you have understood the Kamagita. Very, very wonderful thing, very wonderful subject. Lord Krishna, in this chapter number 13, book 14th of Bhagavad Gita, chapter number 13, verses 12 to 17 are all about Kamagita. Now, this is a time when Pandavas were preparing for Aswamedh Yagna. And Krishna tells this secrets to Yudhishthir, and then Krishna says, you do Aswamedh Yagna, give donations to all the learned people, and continue with your work. So Yudhishthira says that is also the desire, no? You said not doing that also is desire. So you do your duty. At the end of it, Krishna says that you do your duty, you continue your preparation for your Swamedh Yagna, and you do your duties. Okay. So one of the secret is you learn to channelize your desire in a right manner. Okay. When you learn to desire, learn to channelize the power of desire in a right manner. Okay. That is the beginning of transcendence. It's not transcendence, but that is the beginning of transcendence because the power will be there. And what you need to do is you channelize that power of desire in a right manner so that you improve your karma. Otherwise, the grip of karma is so much so you cannot transcend. So what you do is slowly you go on improving your karma. You do your good karma. When the power of good karma increases, you will have good company. Maybe in the company of the master, you will learn to increase your awareness, and as your awareness increases, the grip of the karma will reduce on you. And you will experience more and more freedom from the desire. The desire will be still there as long as you are alive, but the grip of desire will reduce as your awareness goes. The grip of law of karma on you will reduce. You will have some kind of freedom of not reacting to the situation. That much is very much possible for every human being. You see, the situation is a trigger. Whether to react to that trigger or not, that choice you have. Most of the people do not exercise that choice, that's their failure. But you have a choice. And if your awareness increases, your reactions will get converted into responses and your karma will improve. If somebody criticizes you, you feel angry. Okay. You want to go and hit on the nose of that person, but you are aware. So you pause. In that pause, you think, what is the right action? Being violent, hitting somebody is not the right kind of a thing. You will build more karma. So you decide not to do that and keep quiet. Watch your breath, watch your thoughts, enter into witnessing, and your desire to hit on somebody's nose evaporates. Real example of how you can transcend your bad karma. Here I'm not telling you you are transcending the desire. No, the desire is still there. So most fundamentally. But at least you have prevented yourself from entering into the bad karma. That much is very much possible for everybody. So the first fundamental lesson that you are learning right now is anytime there's a trigger which prompts you to act, before you act, pause. In that pause, explore the options with full awareness and act out of awareness that will convert your reactions into well thought out response, and consciously you live your life every day, every moment, so that the grip of karmic burden will reduce over a period of years. Slowly, slowly, you will start experiencing freedom. Why am I telling you this thing? To understand Kamagita, first of all, you want to unburden your emotions that you are carrying, the load of the karma that you are carrying. If it is too much, those 5 simple verses given by Lord Krishna to Arjuna, not Arjuna, Yudhishthira, you cannot understand Kamagita, my dear friends. That's why this background is important. 5 simple verses, they can transform your life. So powerful. Only 5 verses. So simple. Okay. But you cannot understand that unless you unburden yourself. Every human being is carrying so much of emotional burden, karmic burden on one's head and walking the path. You have to be lighter to understand Kamagita. It's the most fundamental subject. So when unwanted thoughts are not there and unwanted karmic burden is not there, that is the way your mind will become little bit free for the most fundamental inquiry. How do I transcend the desire? Your mind has to be free. If you are too much burdened with the responsibilities, with the desires, with the karmic effects, if you are too much busy with your karmic entanglements, then you don't have that space to have this fundamental inquiry of how do I transcend the desire, the very essence of Kamagita. Okay, so this much is enough for that. Next session, only Kamagita, 5 verses. So whatever we have discussed so far, last 10 minutes question answer. Next session we will have straight commentary on Kamagita. Today I'm not starting because this background is very much important. Unless you understand the background, there is no point in going into the verses because it will be just a technical thing. No, we don't want it a technical subject. We want as a life transformation tool. Kamagita can become the life transformation tool if you really go deeper into it in an unburdened manner. So if you can throw off your mental garbage, the unwanted thoughts that you have, the unwanted karmic entanglement that you have, unwanted emotional baggages that you are carrying, all that has to be dropped. Become lighter. When you become lighter, that you can enter a scripture like Kamagita. With all the burdens that we carry, impossible to understand Kamagita. All right, so whatever background I have spoken about, if you have any question, you can ask on whatever we discussed today. Okay.
Guruji, you said that we should channelize our desire in the right manner. Can you specify what is meant by right manner? How should we channelize?
So channelizing the desire means I put my energies in a proper manner, which is not hurting others. It's not creating troubles for others. Okay. There is a story of Satan Singh. This is a true story. Okay. This Punjabi gentleman, Satan Singh, was very, very naughty as a child, and his mother used to get lots of complaints from all the neighbors and all because he'll play a lot of mischief. And then his father decided to put him in army, and he did a wonderful job. So all his masti, okay, all his naughtiness was channelized in a right manner, and he attained to lots of what you call Saurya Padak in his career. So, for example, if your child is too energetic, you put that child into judo karate classes. What are you doing? You are trying to channelize that energy in a right manner, right? So, there is always a possibility, there is always a way that we can find out the right channels for the desire that is there. If it is done in a proper manner, it will save you from unwanted karma, the karmic burden, and the karma will come back. And that's a big trouble. That's how we get trapped. So it all starts with the channelizing of the energy. See, if a person who is very naughty, children, especially in the school, then they get the punishment. Okay, go and have 5 kilometer round and come back. So person is going to do the jogging for 5 kilometers. So he's going to dissipate that energy, but that jogging is good for him. That is called channelizing the energy. So you can take away your desire from one thing and put it into another thing where the same energy is transformed into a more productive work, good for you, good for others. So you don't build unnecessary karma. Okay, we have a question in chat box. Vishal Naik is asking, Guruji, if one has seen a strong desire for liberation emerge, does this desire follow you till you are liberated? Even if that means life after life in case that is needed? 100%. See, the desire for liberation is the worst kind of a desire. You know why? Because that is only the hindrance between you and the liberation. So it will continue life after life after life after life until the desire for liberation drops and the liberation happens. Therefore, if desire for liberation has risen in someone by the Shiva within, does that mean that this desire is no longer transient but permanent and one is no longer swayed by any life situation that follows? No, life situation will keep on swaying. And Jiva misunderstands that as his own desire. And that is the mistake. I told you right in the beginning. See, that is the trap. Let me explain you. properly, because this is the most fundamental of Kamagita. We always think from the side of Jiva. See, you are across the table, other side is Shiva, this side is Jiva. You are thinking from Jiva's side, Vishal. And there is no solution from that side of Jiva. So Jiva will get swept into the desire only when Jiva surrenders to Shiva. Okay. Oh Lord, whatever you do is okay. I have no capacity to do anything. In that very surrender, your desire is lost and liberation happens. So as long as the Jiva is struggling for liberation, I will get liberated. My dear friend, how that I, the petty little ego, can get liberated? So I getting liberated is the most false thing. It cannot happen. The very ego struggling for liberation strengthens the ego. So antidote to this is surrender. So when you surrender to the Lord, the liberation happens. So Vishal, hope that answers your questions. Amantram aksharam nasti, nasti moolam anaushadam. Ayogya puruso nasti, yojaka tatra durlabha. Guruji, this is on the point of performing the right action. Yes, it is performing the right action, Sarji. Without that, further journey is not possible. That's why drop your baggage before you enter the Kamagita. Okay. Become aware of your desires for sure. That is the beginning. The beginning of becoming aware of our desire is the right beginning, because in that awareness, unburdening of the baggage is possible. If you can unburden, then you are free to inquire. Otherwise, inquiry is not possible. See, Ramana Maharshi, simple technique. Inquire, who am I? Sounds very simple, but you see, most of the people can't do that because human beings are too complex, carrying too many things as the baggages, and unless the life has been sorted out, a simple inquiry of what Ravana says, who am I, doesn't happen. And that's the big issue. All right. Any other question? All right, no question. So 1 hour is over. Good, we started this Kamagita. In the next session, no further creation of the background. This much background is good enough. Okay. Thing is about enlightenment. Okay. See, right now the planetary position is such that we need this knowledge more and more. You see, around 15th to 30th of July, this Mars Ketu conjunction in Leo will be near perfect, somewhere around 23rd July or so, and lots of issues can happen to you. Natural calamities in the hilly areas and all. I recommend all our members not to travel to hilly areas now. Right now, the danger is the highest. Landslides, cloud bursting, accidents, very common. Okay. Keep quiet. If you don't need to travel, don't travel. At least up to July end. Okay. Hilly areas are at a great risk. This is part of the astrology, mundane astrology. But what is more important is this Mars is a planet of sexual energy. And Ketu is the most spiritual planet. Okay, the positive side of mundane astrology. Which means what? Right now, up to July end, the time is excellent to convert your sexual energy into spiritual energy. That is why I decided to talk on Kamagita, because it's all about conversion of sexual energy into spiritual energy. Kamagita for sure is one of the big breakthrough in that. And if time permits, we will also discuss how Kama Sutras are derived from Kamagita. That is another big research that has happened. So stay tuned and look for the announcement on the group. All right. Thank you very much. God bless you all.